Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Todd Chrisley's most controversial comments since leaving jail. Todd Chrisley may have left prison behind, but the scandal didn't stay locked up. Since his release, the former Chrisley Knows Best star has been on something of a media spree, and let's just say, his remarks are raising more eyebrows than his poorly blended contour. Never one to shy away from the spotlight, Todd's post-prison commentary has ranged from tone-deaf to downright offensive. Whether he's discussing his wife, his fellow inmates, or reality stars who didn't ask to be name-dropped, Todd is reminding us all why silence is sometimes the most luxurious accessory. Let's take a look at the most controversial things Todd has said since trading prison bars for podcast mix. Todd Chrisley's most controversial quotes since leaving prison. Personally, I'm not a fan of anyone who tries to hoodwink the IRS. But here we are talking about Todd. His liberal-style life has been forced back into our algorithms. That this time he isn't minding his P's and Q's. This one had jaws on the floor, especially considering the widespread reports of poor conditions and inedible meals in federal prisons. In December 2023, Todd told News Nation, "The food is literally, I'm not exaggerating, the food is dated and it's out of date by, at minimum, a year. It's a year past expiration. And they are literally starving these men to death here. These men are getting, I don't know, they are getting 1,000 calories a day." But upon his release, the podcaster was changing his tune. While on his podcast, he revealed, "I had Chick-fil-A, I'm not gonna come on here and lie." Todd recalled, "I had Chick-fil-A, I had Burger King, I had pizza. I had Culver's," which let me just go ahead and tell you, this is not an ad. But Culver's is my jam now. The comments immediately sparked backlash, with critics calling it dismissive and out of touch. Was this a prison stay or a vacation? Coming from someone with a history of privilege, it felt like yet another moment where the bad guy is given special treatment. He added, "I had Olive Garden once, but I didn't like it." Todd really said this about his wife, publicly. During their first podcast episode since being released from prison, Todd noted, "I'm not going to lie. When I first saw you when I got out of that car, I started thinking about going back. But then I thought, let me embrace this. This is a moment." Todd made it clear that when he first saw Julie, he wasn't attracted to her. The quote sent fans reeling, and not in the swooning way. Julie Chrisley, who stood by him through a federal trial, sentencing, and her own prison time, deserved better than being reduced to a May first impression in a post-prison soundbite. Instead of complimenting her, Todd went on to say, "I will say, you set the bar low. You had nowhere to go but up. Is this what true love sounds like?" Yikes. The internet lit up with fans calling the comment disrespectful, unnecessary, and proof that Todd's PR coaching might need a tune-up. This one crossed a line and then sprinted past it. Todd dropped this ominous bomb during a podcast appearance, suggesting that Patricia Altschul was allegedly in a dire health situation. Naturally, it all happened on Instagram after Pat commented, "There goes the neighborhood." Todd did not take the light-hearted joke well and clapped back. He said, "She said, well, there goes the neighborhood," he said. "I've never had an issue with her. I've always held her in high regard. I always thought she was a classy lady." He added, "This is a woman that's in her 80s. She could be my mother." I said, "Please don't. Please don't go back on this old lady. Do not do that. Because at the end of the day, she's old." Not only did it come off as cruel, but it also felt like a cheap attempt at stirring up headlines. Fans and fellow Bravolebs slammed the comment as exploitative. Since beginning his prison sentence in January 2023 for bank fraud and tax evasion, Todd Chrisley, the once proud patriarch of Chrisley Knows Best, has continued to stir headlines despite being locked behind concrete and steel. The reality TV star, known for his sharp tongue and unfiltered wit, hasn't exactly mellowed in confinement. In fact, some might argue that prison has only sharpened his opinions and turned up the volume on his most controversial takes. From his distrust of the justice system to his eyebrow-raising comments about other inmates and even reality TV itself, here are Todd Chrisley's most jaw-dropping, eyebrow-raising, and headline-snatching comments since his incarceration began. 1. I was targeted because I was on TV. In one of his earliest statements from prison, shared through his family's podcast, Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley, Todd pulled no punches. They didn't convict Todd Chrisley. They convicted a character the media created. I was judged for being on TV, not for what was in the evidence. The comments sparked immediate backlash from legal pundits, many of whom accused Chrisley of deflecting responsibility. But to his loyal fan base, it was another example of Todd being real. Savannah doubled down, defending her father's claim. If Dad wasn't famous, this wouldn't have happened like this. That's just the truth. 2. I'm safer in here than I ever was in Hollywood. Todd shocked fans with a biting remark about the entertainment world during a phone call broadcast on Unlocked. Prison is brutal, yes, but at least people here tell you the truth. In Hollywood, they stab you in the back with a smile. Many took this as a veiled swipe at former reality TV friends, producers, and even some family members. The comment went viral on social media, with some joking. Todd found peace in prison. Hollywood really is that bad. 3. I'd rather do time than bow down to corrupt government. In a particularly bold moment, Todd questioned the integrity of the U.S. legal system. I didn't take a plea deal because I wasn't going to confess to something I didn't do. I'd rather do time than bow down to a corrupt government looking for a headline. While some saw it as a brave stance, others pointed out the mountain of evidence and the severity of the charges. Nevertheless, Todd framed his prison sentence as a form of protest, positioning himself as a misunderstood martyr. 4. There are murderers in here with more privileges than me. In one of his most shocking revelations, Todd complained about the conditions in his facility. You've got guys in here doing 25 years for murder with more phone access and visitation than I get. Make that make sense. Critics slammed the comparison as insensitive, especially to victims of violent crime. But supporters argued it highlighted inconsistencies in the prison system. Regardless, Todd's comment drew national attention and forced Bureau of Prisons spokespeople to respond publicly. 5. Julie's sentence is a joke, and not the funny kind. Todd also didn't mince words when talking about his wife, Julie's 7-year sentence. My wife never belonged in court, much less prison. They sentenced an innocent woman to 7 years because they couldn't touch me hard enough. This emotional outburst led to renewed calls from Savannah to advocate for prison reform and sentencing fairness. Todd's framing of Julie's sentence as a form of collateral damage raised both eyebrows and sympathy.